You're listening to an Anazao Ministries podcast.
Join us as we follow Aang, Katara, and Sokka and their friends as they journey through the Earth Kingdom, facing new challenges, making allies, and deepening their understanding of the Avatar world. In this season, Aang must learn earthbending while Prince Zuko continues his quest for redemption. The season features the introduction of important characters like Toph and Azula, along with thrilling action, political intrigue, and character growth. It builds towards a climactic showdown with high stakes that will impact the fate of the world. Season 2 offers a captivating continuation of the series in this epic story. This is Systematic Ecology. We are talking about Book 2 in the Avatar: The Last Airbender series. I am your host, Elizabeth Clyde, and joining me in this episode is also Joshua Noel, Keno Cannady, and Christian Ashley. How's it going, guys?
Oh, yeah, it's going good. Been geeking out on some Avatar, and this week I've just geeked out on so many random things. I started The Boys. I've just been starting a bunch of stuff, but I haven't got to where I'm like deep into anything. You know, just starting random things.
That's kind of me. I've been surface level, like geeking out on things, just to background. Really, I've been reading a lot of romance manga.
What it is I have the deep urge, thanks to Christian, to play Kingdom Hearts again. And I'm trying so hard to satiate that with anything else. And it's not working. It's just nothing takes.
I mean, just why don't you play it again? What is time?
True. Speaking of Christian Ashley.
Sure. I'm doing well. Rough morning, good night. We're going to have fun talking. Are we doing geeking out stuff? Sure.
Yeah.
I just finished today Smile Pretty Cure, which I think is like the 10th or 11th series. I've lost count by the time I'm in here. Magical Girl Show, continuing my run through of seeing this for the first time. Meandered in the plot all over the place. It really kind of had no plot, but its characters were the best we've had so far, in my opinion. So Smile Pretty Cure, really enjoyed it.
All right. What about you, Keno?
Listen, this has been a good week. I'm going to say I just finished recording Transformers, and I love Transformers, and I love Avatar. This is going to be a fun episode, but I'm gonna try to hone in my ADHD to stay on track, because this is going to be mind blowing. Because this episode, this season, a lot of stuff happens. But anyway, I've been geeking out on and again, I'm trying to keep it on track. So I just randomly just chose this anime. It's and if I say it wrong, please forgive me. Just telling you now, if I say it wrong, please forgive me. But it's this Tenchi. I think that's how you pronounce it. Tenchi. It's a high schooler. It's about high school, and they're fighting. There's martial arts, and all they do is just fight each other. That's it. These high school kids just fighting each other. Girls and boys are fighting each other. They don't even care if it's girls. Girls get it like the boys do, which I like. Okay, so she won't talk smack, she get punched in the mouth. That's what happened. But she punched them in the mouth too. So, but that's what I've been geeking out on. And again, I apologize for them saying it wrong.
No, that's fine. You've been geeking out on men abusing women. Got it. Moving on.
No. Keno believes in true gender equality.
Right.
She hits back. She fights first. She punches first and then asks questions. Okay,
that's really funny. No, I'm just joking. Girl power, right?
Yeah,
we can do anything the man can. Okay, back.
Y'all do better stuff. Y'all have babies. Y'all have babies.
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Why not? Moving on to keep on track. So, Josh, tell me your history with the Avatar series.
Yeah, I love the show growing up. I actually, for a time in high school, then also when I returned from college, this is me and my brother's show. This is like our bonding thing. Because, he's always been like the sports guy. I've always been the geek. There's been a few things crossover like Lord of the Rings and Avatar: The Last Airbender. And every year we'd watch the entire series together for like 4 or 5, maybe more years. And it's just, I don't know, it's something special, something I've always loved. It wasn't until I went to college that I figured out more of the religious aspects of the show, which, because, I studied world religions, and then I came back to it kind of with that mindset. And tell you, when you have the mindset and you know about these other religions they're pulling from, it's a whole new show. It's great. I love the show so much.
So yeah, I grew up too watching it. We're about the same age, and I've watched it probably only 2 to 3 times. And as I was doing my recap, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just having like a tired day. I didn't geek out recapping for this episode like I thought I would. I know it's very sad. It's very not me, because I love favorite characters, the cabbage guy, man. My cabbages. I just relate to him so much on a personal level. So
man, my favorite character other than Aang, because if you guys don't know, I am a man child. So any other time a character is just a man child, you got like Luffy or Aang, I'm like, I love this show. This is great. And even though Aang actually is a child, I still feel like he's a man child, because he's also kind of got some like older aspects to him,
He's technically over 100.
Yeah, he's an old soul. He's an old soul. He's 112.
But he's still got that like childish fun. See me and Christian's episode about Peter Pan. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But man, I love Aang, but my favorite other than him in this series, the whole reason I'm on season 2, and that's the only one of this series I'm going to be a part of, Toph. I love Toph. She's so freaking cool.
See, I thought you would want to join in, because when we talk about booming later, I thought I love him too. I thought that would be why you would join in.
And my first animated crush was also
Toph.
No.
Oh.
No.
Wait.
Ty Lee.
Oh.
Ty Lee. My first animated crush was Ty Lee. I love those Fire Nation girls. I was like, these are okay.
All right. No.
Now I'm an adult and I'm like, man, I liked that when I was in high school. I wonder what Ty Lee's up to these days.
She probably has back issues from all those bendings.
No.
Listen, when they make our animated movie, I want to see older Ty Lee.
Right. Okay. Going into episode 1. So you see in your outlines, if you guys did, read over the notes I sent you, that I worked so hard using ChatGTP to create for you. You see we're gonna just go, and then some of these episodes, they're not really filler episodes. I don't think Avatar really has filler episodes, but it's almost like one important thing, but it's just expounded in the whole episodes. It's so we have episode 1, the Avatar state, and that's just like Aang kind of going a little bit deeper into it, and we learn a little bit more about it. But there's not really much in it besides that. Like Zuko's Zuko's sister also enters the picture, so that's pretty big.
Asula, Asula's huge. Like the fact that she comes in and she actually takes over the whole season.
I agree.
Yeah, she takes over the whole season.
That's true.
Without trying to.
No, she tries. She's a pick me girl. She tried.
Well, she's mean. She's just misunderstood. Like just seeing these as teenagers and babies, they really are just misunderstood.
She has daddy issues.
She does. No, she got mama issues. Yeah, she got mama issues, not daddy issues. She got mama issues, and that's even worse. Okay, that's anyway. I'm gonna just leave that alone.
But also, big spiritual themes hinted at in the first episode. If you pay attention, they show you Katara is the key to Aang finding the Avatar state. It wasn't till it was basically, he thought she was dead, and then boom, he's in the Avatar state. And that's going to come back around in the final episode here when we learn about chakras, which is a very Hindu thing, but we'll talk about that then.
Mm-hmm. And in episode 2, that's when they, I love it because that band comes into the picture and that hippie dude singing.
Yeah, that's funny.
They get lost in the cave, and we thought Aang and Katara was going to kiss, which still to this day, I don't ship them.
They did kiss.
Wow.
No, they did not. They were about to. No, they did not. They were about to.
Katara herself said they did.
They did kiss in the cave?
Yep. Her voice actress said.
Well, it wasn't shown in the anime. Maybe it was shown in the comics.
They kind of left it ambiguous.
Well, it is a kid show.
They didn't kiss.
Yeah.
I'm about to say, I watched that episode.
They almost, and then they didn't, and then the lights went out, and we didn't see what happened next.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they would have been more like Aang would have been more on cloud, like literally floating on air if that happened. You know what I mean? Like he would, like his dream just came true.
True.
Maybe he already heard about Ty Lee and he was like,
Nah.
Don't
bring yourself up here.
Nope. Bad Josh. Bad Josh. Okay.
We'll talk about the girls, those girls in a little bit.
Don't make me get my paper on you, Josh. Okay. I'll pop you in the nose. Okay. I'm treated like a puppy.
Episode 3 is like the one I remember the most, and that's when like they go to Omashu in hopes of finding Boomy. And then like and that's
Boomy.
Yeah, is that the one? Like, I can't remember if it's just this one episode, but pretty much Boomy is just this mad, crazy genius, and he devises a big plan to kidnap his friends to play games with them.
That's first season.
And is it this season?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm getting confused.
Because that's how they know to come to him.
Okay,
because Aang right now needs to master earthbending.
Yeah,
that's like the whole focus of this one.
You're right. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
thanks.
he figured out water. Now he needs earth, and Boomy is the answer. But it turns out Boomy might be crazy.
No, he was always crazy. Not about it.
Excuse me. No. Boomy had a plan. Okay?
That's right.
Boomy had a plan. He knew exactly what he was doing because he knew they were coming, and all he waited was the time when the sun was blocked for him to get back his kingdom. Don't act like Boomy might seem crazy,
but evil, crazy genius. He's
got that like
he's senile.
The Joker, maybe Jack Sparrow kind of vibe of like everybody thinks he's drunk, everybody thinks he's crazy, but he got a plan. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
He's got a plan.
Do you guys remember the swamp when they were doing like the hallucinations and stuff?
Vaguely.
Me too.
Wait, is that
I know it exists.
Is that where we saw the swamp benders and touching the tree?
It was like some kind of fungus or moss they touched, and then like it made them like hallucinate. It was really funny.
Yeah, members of the Water Tribe that got away from everyone else, and they're basically bayou hillbillies from Louisiana.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Such a delight.
Oh, that's funny.
And then I remember them drinking swamp water, and like Sokka like spitting it in his mouth, like swishing it. I was like, not so bad. I don't know why.
Don't remember that.
I just remember that, and I just like those things you just gag at.
Yeah, as someone who grew up in Florida, don't do that.
Could you imagine? And then you go, like they have that big festival with Avatar Day, and so Aang gets really excited, but it's really like, we hate the Avatar because it's hosted by the Fire Nation. Do you remember that? And then he's like, we have to clear the name of the Avatar.
This one, I love this episode a lot.
Okay, talk about it then. I don't remember it.
They go to this one island where they celebrate Avatar Day, and like I just said, Aang gets so excited, but it turns like they burn an effigy of the Avatar because of what happened with Avatar. Kyoshi came, who was the Avatar before Sozin, and while she was an earthbending Avatar, and she had a dispute with this local general who the town worships, essentially, not like as a deity, but as like that his personhood, and like he's our guy, and they take his side of events. Well, Aang finds out by accessing part of his avatar, not the avatar state, but like reaching back to Kyoshi. It's like, yeah, I totally killed that guy because he's a huge jerk, and the world was better off without him in it. So this whole time, Aang's been like trying to prove her innocence, like no avatar would ever do this, because he's letting his airbender, like pacifist philosophy, kind of get in the way of reality. And Kyoshi's like, nope, I ganked that dude. I'd do it again.
Yeah, but he was stupid. He didn't. I can't remember why, but he didn't want to listen to reason. And Avatar Kyoshi was like, you know what? Instead of me trying to argue with you, I'm just going to create a whole new island, and I'm just going to be over here. Okay. Just instead of just trying to reason with you, I'm going to just separate my piece of land and put water between us, so I ain't got to deal with you no more.
That's what I would do, honestly. Like, you know what? I'm not going to fight stupid. I'm going to just do myself over here.
Same.
No, I remember it was because he was trying to conquer the Earth Kingdom, and she's like, I'm having none of your crap. You're done for, buddy.
Yeah.
But then, as we're in the Earth's kingdom, I'll let Josh talk about the next episode when we meet the blind bandit.
Yes.
Man, I'm glad you said what episode it was because I don't have the outline pulled up. I was just kind of, I'm here.
You piece of crap. My chat GTP spent a solid 20 seconds breaking down these episodes for us.
Listen, this is for like host 1 and 2. I'm just here to have fun and hang out with you guys.
Well, tell us about when Aang first meets Toph.
I love her so much. And
Absolutely.
also, this is one of those episodes where you very much see, there's a few in this, where what Avatar: The Last Airbender is an examination of like Eastern culture and stuff, very much from a Western perspective. So what you see in this one is, even though you got like these Eastern cultures and stuff here, there is very much WWE WrestleMania in the Earth Kingdom. And Saku gets into it. Or Sokka? His name's Sokka, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sokka. He's like all into it. He's like buying it. He's like, oh yeah. He hates all the heels. He loves the boulder. And they're watching this wrestling competition go down, and the boulder beats all the other, the guy who pretends to be Fire Nation and all this stuff. And it's funny because it's all very much like, oh, this is just a show like WrestleMania. And then the champion comes out, and it's a small blind girl who is talking mad smack. Like, not just like, oh, some little small blind girl. No, this girl comes out and she's like, oh, I didn't know there was 2 tiny girls out here. She's like talking crap to this big muscular dude. Mind you, the whole reason they're here, Aang was looking for someone to teach him Earthbend. And he's like, oh, it can't be the boulder. And Sokka's like, it's got to be. This guy's the best. He's like, no, this guy, Aang was told in a vision, he needs to find the Earthbender who listens to the earth. He's like, this guy isn't doing that. He's doing it with his muscles. And then you have this little blind girl comes out, and she's able to like completely defeat him in like 2 steps because she's just feeling the earth. And it ends up kind of, you find out that's Toph's whole thing is she can't see, but she sees stuff through the earth and her earth bending. Find out her parents, and this is going to be important later in the story, some of the wealthiest people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They think she is just some tiny little girl. They don't know about her alter ego as the blind bandit who's doing WrestleMania. And they think she's just some pathetic weakling. But then when the Avatar's in trouble, she steps up, shows her real colors. And instead of the parents being like, oh, hey, we see your potential, go be great, they were like, we're going to lock you up forever now. And she ends up sneaking out and telling Aang and them that, oh, no, my parents changed their mind. I can come with you. And it kind of ends the episode with that little cliffhanger of the parents actually hired some people to come after her because they're saying that she was kidnapped when she really just ran away.
Right. I mean, yeah, I can't relate to overprotective parents. Oh, wait.
Yes. Nobody probably
yes,
could.
I can.
That's never happened to anybody.
No. I love Toph so much. She is one of my favorite characters in fiction ever. I haven't assembled the list, so I don't know where she would stand, but she would be high up there.
Yeah.
Because if this were written by someone incompetent, she would be a Mary Sue. She would be someone you would hate because she's been written poorly. But because she's written well, you have what in an 80s or 90s cartoon show would have been your token person with a disability. And look at how amazing they are. And they're so much better than everyone else because they have this disability versus, this is a part of who she is, the disability, but she's learned to use it to her advantage. But there's still backdrops. Excuse me, not what's what I'm looking for. There's still disadvantages to her being blind. She's not, there are ways you can take advantage of her, but she's still awesome because she's had to train a little harder than everyone else, not only because she's been coddled by her parents, but also because of her disabilities and learning from the badger moles how to earthbend correctly. And even as she teaches Aang, she's not the best teacher in the world because, well, why don't you just get it? I get it. But it's done so well. I love her so much. And my favorite line about her isn't even said about her. It's in season 3. And I'll wait till we get to the Ember Island players to talk about that.
It even kind of shows some of the weaknesses of like the Earth Kingdom kind of mentality and philosophy because she's walled herself off. She's very strong inwardly to the point where it's hard for her to make some connections. So you see that like emotional level too. And what I love though is her interactions with Sokka because her disability really, the disadvantage of it are most seen when Sokka is being an oblivious idiot, because he just forgets that she's blind because she can feel with earth, but he's like, here, catch, and just throw something at her face. And it's like, Sokka, you idiot, stop.
Or he tries to show her a picture.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
I just love that she makes so much blind jokes about herself.
Yeah.
She's like,
God, it's great.
No, I'm blind, you idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
We love Toph.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, senses. But it's the next section that I love, because Zuko goes on this whole I have to go find myself, and he goes on his emo discovery journey where he's questioning everything. It's like, does everything I know is a lie? Is the Fire Nation really the bad guys? Where do I fit in all of this? I might have daddy issues, and so that's just fun, like, hanging out with him for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because this whole time, like, he and Iroh have been on the run because they saved the moon spirit last time around, and that has branded them as traitors, which is why Azula is after them.
Mm-hmm.
But you have him like, okay, if I firebend in an Earth Kingdom country, I can't do that because they'll know who I am. And people are looking for me on the Fire Nation side. People would be looking for me on the Earth Kingdom side. I've made a ton of enemies because I've been such a huge jerk, and because my nation has been such a tremendous evil to this land. Like, how do I wrestle with all that? Who am I? And what am I going to do about that when I find the answer? Is like one of the huge questions he asks here, and in the third season, when he makes the wrong answer, we'll find eventually in this one.
I just wanted Zuko and Katara to end up together.
Oh, you're one of those.
I didn't get what I wanted.
No.
I didn't get what I wanted. It's fine.
All right.
Those privileges removed.
You're in charge.
It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have worked.
They had a few moments.
Fire and water don't work good together. Okay.
Yeah, it creates steam.
Yeah.
Now we got Elizabeth with the wrong opinions.
How does it feel to be on the side of justice for once, Joshua?
Moving on. I know it's an unpopular opinion. So pretty much they do the game. Azula tries to find the Avatar, cat and mouse type deal. And then we're going to skip to like episode, I think it's 10, when they discover the library.
It's not just Azula. She has friends. Don't forget Ty Lee.
Okay, Ty Lee and May.
Is it May or Mai?
No.
It is May. It's spelled like Mai
but it's
to
May.
us, but it's pronounced May.
That's why I always wondered if they just pronounced it wrong. Because, like, in my mind, the writers were being funny by having her friends be Mai Tai. I was like, that's a funny joke. No. And then it was like, nope, May. I was like, what?
No.
Why?
May. She's the one that ended up with Zuko, but it's fine. They can be emo together, I guess. They're both kind of depressing. Yeah. But yeah, so but it's the library. The library is a pivotal point because they discovered this wealth of knowledge, and you have the creepy owl that's guarding it. He's like, you can look around, but he had one rule: you cannot use this for war. And freaking Sokka.
See, Sokka just discovered. Hey,
he discovered something to use for war.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean for war, but just so happened to say I can use this information for war.
Yep. Okay? I mean, it was handy to know, but Sokka broke the rule.
So this is one of those 3 big moments this season where I think you see what I was talking about earlier, where you see Eastern thought portrayed through Western eyes, and it's really telling here. So I'm going to break this down a little bit and be a little bit super nerdy, but hey, that's what the show's for, so it's okay. For those who don't know, even though we call the Middle East today, and we think of like America as the West, when you're talking about world religions, ignore America. It doesn't exist. Jerusalem over is basically the West, and then everything on the other side is the East. So usually when we say Western religions, you're talking Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And when you're talking about Eastern religions, we're talking about Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism, Hinduism, all that kind of stuff. What's interesting here is you're seeing like Western today culture, like American eyes, looking at this place that's, it's weird because your Western religions, Christianity, Judaism, were known as the people of the book. Because it was weird that we have these religions that are about studying and learning more about our God and kind of more of an intellectual religions, whereas most of your Eastern religions aren't like that at all. There is no Hindu Bible. They have a lot of texts they consider sacred, but no one in the Hindu belief thinks any of them are like inerrant or anything like that. So that's just not really a thing with Eastern religion. So what's interesting is you have this situation here where you have Sokka of like American. He's very American in this, where he's like, I'm going to use this for our ultimate goal of winning the war. That's his mindset. You have the show itself displaying this Eastern idea of, no conflict, no war kind of stuff, no harm. But the religion itself is being portrayed through books, which is typically thought of as a Western religion thing. So it's really weird how you have all this kind of crammed into this episode where it's like, okay, we're just going to criticize all of these aspects at once. And I love it so much. I think every world religion student should be forced to watch this episode. It's great. Okay, rant over.
You done?
Yeah.
Right. That's a good point. That way. I rather enjoyed that. I mean, especially when you look in the ultimate context of the series, we learn about Sozin's comet in this episode where the firebenders are unable to bend under it. So Sokka thinks, I have found something I can use for the benefit of all the world. If we just gather together on a specific day, that'll solve everything. And that's a very childish way of thinking about it. It's also a very, seeking justice kind of way of thinking about it. People have been oppressing us for so long. Let's find the one way, even if I have to break the rules to get there, which the rule being you can't use anything you learned here for war. He's going to do it. And yet in the end, it doesn't work. And to his benefit, as we'll see later on, not to spoil what happens later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're forgetting that this is all in the backdrop of war.
Yeah.
War is happening. So what we're witnessing is the fallout from the war. We are seeing like how that refugees are being treated. We're seeing how being displaced in your homeland is being treated. We're seeing that you have to, like with Zuko and Iroh being on the run, and seeing that the war, from the Fire Nation's perspective, this was a just war to bring about our culture to the world. But when you get down and seeing it from the other side, you begin to see like, oh wait. This ain't, they're not happy that we're here. Like you said just earlier, like he can't use his fire bending in the earth kingdom because they'll want to fight him, because like it's because of you that we're having to be out here and stuck like this. It's so war is happening all around. And so even with Sokka getting the information from the library, and I agree with you, Josh, about the convergence of East and Western in this show I have to give these writers, they did a wonderful job of introducing some Eastern concepts from Western lens that makes it more appealing than cultish. Let me say it that way. But you do see this convergence of everything. But I don't like that the stupid owl got mad because he let the Fire Nation in. That was his fault. He let the Fire Nation in, and the Fire Nation guy burnt the stuff. Okay, burnt that up stuff about the Fire Nation, and then that's when he made that stupid rule. Okay, so it ain't Sokka's fault. Okay, it ain't Sokka's fault.
But you also you brought up something too that everybody seems to forget this thing. If America was mostly Native Americans, I would see the complaints that all the other countries have of America's two-gun, whatever, all this other stuff. And a lot of that stuff is still true. I'm not criticizing that. But what people forget is America is a nation founded on war. That's always going to be a part of our culture, because our whole existence is because we were fighting the English. It's always going to be part of who we are. So when we're thinking of these other characters, and I'm like, wow, Sokka's acting a lot like an American. Yes, he was forged by war. That's what we are. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you're really thinking of it in that concept of, as much as I don't like utilitarianism, I've said that so many times on this show, I wouldn't make that argument here, because you know what? When you've seen the stuff that Sokka has seen, when you've seen the stuff that these people have seen, all that goes out the window. All your philosophies, your highbrow ethic stuff, nah, screw all that. We're getting freedom, right? Like at that point, it's what does it take to take these people down?
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
But most importantly, what happens in this episode? Appa gets kidnapped at the end.
Oh, she's right.
And that is freaking
that was tragic.
devastating. Like,
I cried.
not Appa.
I cried. I cried because you
Much
saw
worse than the dog.
you saw Toph. You saw Toph. She tried. She tried. She had a hard choice to make, and she made the hard choice. And you can't fault her for that. You can't fault her for what she did because she saved him. But that really that hurt.
Yeah,
It was hard. It was hard to watch. And so then the next few episodes is just them kind of like getting to Ba Sing Se, trying to like figure out their plan against the Fire Nations. There's a few like, side stories. I think my favorite one is when Sokka had the random haiku battle with like
I forgot about that.
I adored that so much. And so and then like Zuko like visiting the tea shop, and Iroh's like
that was good.
And so it was just like, it's just fun because it kind of makes me think of a little bit of like a One Piece where you enjoy the character's backstory and you're not just trying to like, I was like, okay, can we keep on going? So that's always fun. And then we find out Jet comes back into the picture too, because they're trying to like stop this big drill the Fire Nation is trying to get into Ba Sing Se. And Jet comes in, and I can't exactly remember how Jet comes in. I just remember because I was also Team Jet and Katara too. I was pretty much anyone besides Aang for Katara. I don't know why. I just did not ship him with her, but I lost.
He's childish. Like
maybe that's it.
Like literally, he's childish, and everyone else that she met was not childish. Like literally, Jet was cool. Like Jet was like the man. Like I ain't true. Jet was the man. Like for real. So he gets brought back because remember they were also fleeing the war, and refuge was in Ba Sing Se. Like they right up until this point, Ba Sing Se was the only place that the Fire Nation had not conquered. Like so they were like, we can go to Ba Sing Se and be cool. However, yeah, you get behind the walls, it ain't all that great. Because Jet becomes an agent. He's a secret agent man.
But he came around. I'm just saying, like, he was a secret agent, but then he saw the errors of his ways and he went back to like,
I mean, yeah, he was brainwashed. Yes, he was brainwashed. Yes, okay, but
and then he died. Go ahead.
He was the winter soldier of Avatar: The Last Airbender.
He was. Oh my gosh. That was
somewhere after episode 10, after the library, before we get to like the ending stuff of this season. Something happens. I don't understand what it is. And this is like behind the scenes stuff. On Netflix, there's 18 episodes. But if you look it up, there's 20 episodes. What happened?
If I remember correctly, they combined two.
I know they combined the last two.
Yeah, and I can't remember what the other one, but they do combine two to make a whole episode for like maybe 40 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think because they're so related or something like that, I'd have to look up the actual order to see which one it actually is. But I do know they do that.
Yeah. It just confused me a little bit. I was like, that's kind of weird. But that's not
not
actually about the substance of the show. That was just I'm confused. Someone help.
Jet ends up in Ba Sing Se because he meets up with Zuko and Iroh while they're both under their assumed names, and the Earth Kingdom finds out who Zuko actually is as a fireman. I can't remember when he learns he's Zuko or if he ever does. And when he tries to get that information up, that's when he ends up with the Dai Li or whatever they call themselves. Yeah.
Also, at some point, I need to find a good excuse to talk about Iroh a little bit. I love that guy.
Well, we talked about the Tales of Ba Sing Se briefly. We might as well right now.
Yeah,
because that's about where we are at.
One of the things I love about Iroh is he is like the only real Taoist in the whole series. Also, this is another fun Eastern religion things. In Eastern religions, you don't really name what religion you are. It's not like I'm Confucianist. You just, you have religious things from all of these things. You just kind of pull from them and you just do your thing because none of them have some god that you're having to compete with some other god. It's not like I'm worshiping the god of Taoism and Confucianism. Neither of them have a god. Doesn't matter to them at all if there's a god.
That's why they all going to hell. I'm just playing. That was a joke. I don't want to offend nobody. That was a joke. That was literally a joke. Oh my god!
I'm about to give
the pastor of the episode.
Goodness gracious.
That's really funny.
Well, I was about to say
Anyway,
before we got that into that interlude, that one of the common sayings in Japan is, born Shinto, married Christian, die Buddhist.
Yeah.
To further your idea there, Joshua.
Yeah. So there's a painting. And what's funny is when Western people see the painting, they take it of, oh, this one's right, these other two are wrong, and just pick which one that you think is right or wrong. That's not the point of the painting at all, but I'm not going to get there. But it's funny because Iroh even looks like the Taoist guy a little bit in this. It's like there's this famous painting where the three, I forget their names, but the founder of Confucianism, the founder of Taoism, and Siddhartha from Buddhism are all tasting from the same pool of vinegar. And the Buddhist is making like a bitter face because, Buddhists believe all life is bitterness and you need to get it up so that you can have whatever. And the Confucianist is like, oh, that's sour. Like he's just making an angry face because, Confucianist is like structure. So he's thinking of like, what can I do to structure this, add it to make it different, to make it better? And the whole thing of Taoism is just being happy that things are the way they are. So you have this picture of the three, and the Taoist is drinking the same thing, and he's just smiling, and it looks like Iroh. And I'm like, yes, that's it. He's like, I'm so happy. This vinegar is bitter because vinegar is supposed to be bitter. And that's one thing I love that you see throughout this thing is like, he's not just the old wise man that you get in a lot of shows that are either grumpy or peaceful all the time. He's happy. I love when the spiritually like inept people are just joyful because I'm like, that is such an important part of spirituality that just gets left out a lot of times when we do the, that classic thing of the old wise man. They leave out the happy part. And I just love that Iroh is a happy old man.
Listen, Iroh's an OG. Like Iroh,
he's the best. He's the greatest.
He is like the sage meets the ultimate warrior meets a kitten meets Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilder. Like I don't understand. Like how is this old man cut like this? You know what I mean? Like I don't think it's not in this season, but still, like he went from. I know I'm jumping real ahead, but he went from like having a beer gut to a 6-pack in jail. Who does that? Who does that?
And what was great is it wasn't even like I'm upset, I need to change myself. Right. He was just like, I guess I'll work out now. I'm happy. He's like, this is what I need to do now, and I'm going to be happy about it. And it's like, dude, what do you mean?
Well, you took away his tea, so what else was he supposed to do?
True. Yeah.
Okay.
I love. We already passed this episode, but there's an episode early on where he finds this flower, and it's like, this is either the flower that makes like the world's greatest tea, or it's poison.
Oh yeah.
And Zuko's like, whatever, old man, and walks out, and he goes back, and Iroh's like full body rash, like died. He's like, it was the poison one.
Yeah.
That's great.
Gosh, and then I think it's this. Is it this season 2? We find out what happens to his son.
Yes.
Yeah. Like we find out like he was a great general. Well, we knew he was a general, but he retired because his son actually died.
At Ba Sing Se even, and like
Depressing.
he infiltrated it as a refugee, but not as the great general everyone expected to win the fight.
Which is ironic foreshadowing of the end of this season.
Yes.
And we can go ahead and talk a little bit about the ending for time's sake, because it's all like the side stories and whatnot. And then
so I remember this.
So
I remember one of the key things about this whole episode was Aang understanding how to get into the Avatar state and to master that portion. He understood in distress he can get an Avatar state. He understood airbending, and he's finally getting to understand water bending, and he's learning earth bending. But he's an airbender, and he's a nomad, and he wants to be free. And Toph is like, no, come on, Twinkle Toes, come on, you can do this. I love it. I love what she always called him, Twinkle Toes. But we see while Aang is looking for Appa and trying to figure out where Appa is, Appa meets the guru And wait, no. Yeah, Appa does Appa meet the guru, and then Aang meets the guru. I don't remember the
But
setup.
this is after they save Appa either way.
But yeah, but anyway, but what ended up happening is that Aang meets a guru at one of the temples, and he sits and learns about the chakras. And I was like, "Yo, this is very fascinating. Like this is another Eastern meets Western idea about flowing in chi and chakras." And there were 7 chakras, and Aang masters all but the last one. And the guru says that if you leave, you will never master the avatar state. I'll never forget he said that. He said, if you leave, you'll never be able to master the avatar state. And Aang was like, I don't care. I had a vision that Katara and everybody's in trouble. I'm going to go there. And the whole point was that Aang could not let go of his earthly attachments. He could not.
Wait, Luke Skywalker?
Yeah, I was about to say it's a very Empire Strikes Back moment of, if you there's the old Jedi philosophy that Yoda was trying to put in him. It's the Guru's old philosophy. If you have to give up all attachments, otherwise, you can't truly be the Avatar. And Aang is more that, and Luke in a sense too, are that sense of no, I can be better.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have those attachments because they remind me why I do what I do. And we also get the very Empire Strikes Back moment of them losing in the end for the season.
I was going to say, yeah, the ending is also very Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, no,
this season is the Empire Strikes Back season.
Yeah.
Which is funny because literal Empire, also strikes back because it's the Fire Nation. But talk about the chakras, which is probably why Pang threw it to me in the first place. But that's another one of those like very Eastern religion things that's Hinduism. What I love is they don't like this show doesn't do like what a lot of other shows, especially Disney, and I love Disney, does of we'll kind of mention that they're Arabic, or we'll just kind of throw in there, we'll maybe do a casual, oh, that person's another religion. They don't even do that. They don't even name the stuff. They're teaching kids what this is though. And what I thought was incredible writing is they go through the chakras, and the last one's the one he's stuck on was also actually what the chakras are. And it made perfect sense that he would be stuck on the last one. And it was like the whole flow of the show. And it's like, did they write the show around this idea of the chakras? Did it just happen to align? Like, how did they do? Truly, it's one of those things where like, I can't comprehend how the writers were able to make that match up so well, but it was incredible. And like, just while we're talking about chakras, that's one of those things of like, when you look at like science and faith, that's really interesting because you see, yeah, that chakra stuff, there is a lot of scientific stuff that kind of goes, this might actually have something to it. Same thing with like meditation, same thing with yoga. Those are like Eastern religions. But even if you look at like studies of people when they're praying or speaking in tongues and stuff, and like the Christian tradition, there's parts of our brain that light up that don't light up ordinarily. So it's like there is a lot of science behind our spiritual practices, those that we agree with and those that we don't. And it tells us there's got to be more. Like, I feel like there is
more. There is more. It's just that we in the Western world only think that the Western world is it. And that is the only thing. No, like literally, for the longest, I used to have a huge quartz. It was about this huge. It was about this big on my desk. And anybody asked me what's this about? I said it's a quartz. It's to keep I forgot what the quartz did. Did it keep the evil spirits out? Or I forgot or bring good in. I forgot what it did. But I had it there for 7 6. But it was like, yeah, but you're a pastor. You believe? Yes. So this is just a rock.
Me and Christian had this argument on the show before.
Yeah, we have.
But the thing that we miss is that we think that how we view the world is how the world is viewed. And how it's supposed to be. No, again, this is one of my favorite episodes. Is this episode in the whole series outside of the last episode and the final season? Like this one because this let us know that following the ways of a path and getting down to the end of the path, and you make a choice doesn't mean it's the end for you. It just means you take another path. Now that path is longer and difficult, yes, because I believed what the guru said, and he said you will never get into the avatar state. I was like, damn it, this is over. and then to see the end season ending, like, oh, she killed him. He's dead. He's dead. The show's over. How is gonna? So yeah, no. So
And
yeah, no. Go on.
of all the things, like he's dead, but you know what heals him is that attachment he couldn't let go of, Katara with her healing water. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. Was that attachment bad? Season over. Find out next year.
Find out next
year. Oh, man. I was so upset as a child. I was like, because, you know what, especially the age I was the age that didn't know storytelling good enough. So I was like, what? Like, I hadn't quite learned that the good guys will win because that's how writing works. I was like, what?
But what it highlights too is like Azula this whole season has been showing how she's learning as Daddy's little villain along the way. Like earlier at the drill episode, I think she has a moment where she could have like taken Aang out for good, but she screws up. This time, she's not letting it slip past her fingers. Like she takes advantage of the fact like no one gets killed in the middle of a transformation sequence. Like you didn't see Frieza killing Goku, going Super Saiyan. Like this doesn't happen.
Superhero movies.
But she breaks the rules because she's competent and smart. And that's why she's such a great character. It's like, screw your conventions. I got a job to do. You better die.
Yeah. If there was any Mary Sue character, it was the bad guy this season, which was cool. I like that they kind of pulled that off. I'm going to backtrack a little bit if it's okay.
Go for it.
You were talking about how Western's like mindset is like our way's the only way kind of stuff. I'm going to posit. I know this might be unfair to Keno because I know Christian and Elizabeth will probably agree with me on part of this. We'll say Jesus is the only way as far as like getting to heaven, all of that stuff. Like I do believe
and the light. Continue.
I believe that, but I think a lot of these other spiritual practices and stuff from the East might be good ways to communicate with God, might be still useful to us. So like chakras, nowhere in the Bible does it say, thou shalt not believe in the flow of your spirit. I feel like there are still useful things here, as long as you're not saying, if I get my chakras right, I don't need Jesus. I can just go to heaven. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
So like,
you're not throwing me under the bus.
Okay, good.
I read Harry
that's
Potter.
Not what you meant.
I read Harry Potter. So according to the evangelical world, I'm a heathen. I'm going to hell for reading that book.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm so much.
All of us here are
3 episodes recorded so far.
But
said the
one thing, because you mentioned something that you had the quartz. I wanted to mention one thing that was funny. Like it's a spiritual practice, but I find it really helps with my ADHD.
It does.
Tibetan monks, or a lot of, I guess Tibetans in general. I don't know. You might have seen them in some stores. They have what's called I think it's called the singing bowl or the prayer bowl. And you kind of like, you dong it and you just go around and it makes this noise. All of my anxiety, all of like, I can't focus. It just soothes and it helps me pray. And I'm talking to Jesus and I'm like, I'm
Josh,
there.
So let me say this. I didn't think this was going to happen, but this is awesome. So I've been on this kick to try to understand Eastern Orthodox theology. More specifically, this concept of theosis, which is the practice of coming deified. In other words, becoming more spiritually attuned with God in every aspect, not just in word, not just in song, but in every aspect. And one of the things that I think that Western Christianity lacks is the practice of understanding that to seek God in everything, you have to experience him in everything, not just in church, not just in the word, not just in the songs, but even in the music. Like you said, Josh, that bowl helps your anxiety. That's proven by science. That's proven by science, but that's also in the Bible. The scripture says that David played for Saul and he was calm. That's what the Bible says. So for those who saying that my church is the only way that I'm supposed to experience God, shame on you. Shame on you, because God is bigger than your church. God is bigger than the Bible. God is bigger than the songs. God is bigger than the hymns. God made the earth, and he's bigger than the earth. God is listen, you want to say, no, here's the thing, because I like this episode about the chakras, because again, we forget how everything flows and works together. All things work for the good of
Almost
those
like it was made by a perfect creator
who knew how all of it's supposed to form. You know, one of the things I like to do when I preach is to challenge the folks to think about this. You think you are so good, you think you're so perfect. Tell your heart to beat. Tell your lungs to breathe. No, God made it that way, that you don't have to think about your blood flowing or oxygen in your being, because God set it up to where you don't have to think twice about it. That's how awesome God is. Not only he's that awesome that you don't have to think about those things, but he also has set up that you can receive him by word, by sound, by sight, by taste, by experiences. And so yes, I love this type of things, because it lets me know that the way I see God is I can experience him outside of just the four walls of the church. I can go outside and just take a moment and feel him in the rain, because he made it all. He made it all.
All right. Well,
before I start speaking in tongues,
if you've gotten saved, you can text the number 777-7777 if you just gave your life to Jesus Christ.
Man. But hey, to bring it back to the nerdy stuff, also speaking of the chakras, and that last episode, we see the first instance of metal bending. That's setting up stuff for Korra later on. When we see that's the way you beat a bender. You got to learn the chakras.
You do.
Man. Okay, I'm sorry, Elizabeth.
No, you're fine. That's right. So as we are getting ready to wrap up, once again, if you got saved, please text your number to 777-7777. If you have received Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior,
and you'll receive your free singing bowl.
And
if you're offended that Keno said you were going to hell, you can respond at Keno Cannady at.
We have something free for you. It's not a free Bible, because we have something free for you. Just text that number, save to, sorry. But for real, as we are getting ready to wrap up, don't forget to subscribe on Captivate or the AMP channel on Apple Podcasts for one more question discussion after the show, or in this case, with the way they're going, it might be three more. Who knows?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah. Real quick, 30 seconds each. What would you recommend our listeners to geek out on this week?
I'm not going to do 30 seconds, but I got two. I have two. Avatar: The Last Airbender, The Dawn of Yang Chen. Audible book, another Avatar that's an airbender. Fantastic. If you love the Avatar series and you like Audible books, get it. The other one, because we talked a lot about like learning about Jesus from other religions, book called Insider Jesus, Theological Reflections on New Christian Movements by William A. Dyres. I might be saying the name incorrectly, but hopefully I said enough words that if you put it in Google, it'll correct it. I love this book. It shows a lot of these movements that some of them don't even use the name Christian, because in their context, it means something different than a follower of Jesus. It means someone who kills people. So they're like, yeah, I don't want to use that word, but I want to be Christian. And it shows Jesus redeeming these other spiritual practices from Hinduism, from Taoism, from even some of the Southern American religions. Fantastic book. Highly recommend. Even if you don't agree with everything, it's a fun read and very challenging. So, yeah.
All right. Go, Keno. 30 seconds, sir. I'm watching you. I will mute you.
You can't do that to a preacher. You can't,
yes, I can.
You can't do that to the preacher. You can't tell me the time.
I
multiply by 3 for the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
This is not 7 times 70 times scripture.
Just forgive him 7 times 70.
Go. I'm about to take away your recommendation. Go.
Okay, so no. I'm reading Where Do We Go From Here? Community of Chaos. It's by Dr. King. It's the last book he wrote before he was assassinated. So yeah, that's what I'm currently reading.
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah. See.
All right, go Christian.
Everyone has something very spiritual to add this, so I'm going to change gears and go to Ahsoka, which I have really been enjoying so far. Not everything, but overall, I'd say I'm really in the show, and I'm ready to see what else they have in store.
We got 1 more hour before the new episode drops.
All right, cool. And I would recommend Liar Liar. It is about high school, and pretty much they just compete for a tier system through games. So you get to challenge each other through games. And this guy, he accidentally becomes the very best through fluke, and now he has to keep
Ash
up the
Ketchum?
facade. Yeah, something like that. So I would recommend. It's called Liar Liar. Those are our recommendations for the week. Please rate and review our show on the podcast platform of your choice, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for even more content where you can visually see me give Josh and the other hosts the blank, oh my God, look.
We got it a lot tonight.
You got it a lot tonight, but it's fine. I let you guys talk. I zoned out a few times, but it's good. All right, guys, may your days be filled with epic battles, heart-filled friendships, and endless anime adventure. Goodbye.
This was an Anazao Ministries podcast. If you enjoyed this show and would like to learn more about our network, be sure to check out the Anazao Ministries podcast network.